We rolling?
We're rolling.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. We're here today. I'm going to let you guys introduce yourself and say what you do and who you are. And I don't know how to describe Gene or Dan, so you guys can describe yourselves and introduce yourself to the audience. Go ahead, Dan. You first.
My name is Dan Perloff, and I introduced Lee to Gene Aguilera, who's the star of the show. I'm just here kind of hanging out. But I am in the music industry to some degree, and one of the first projects I did over at Manifesto Records, or the first project I did, was a Lee Michaels 7 CD box set as well as a best of compilation, and it was fabulous. So there you go. I'm a huge fan, and I'm honored to be here.
But you're so much more than that, man. You are the most historic guy. You know everything about every band in the universe, man.
Well, you know, I'm.
It's shocking. I mean,
don't
you're
know.
so humble, and to use me as
I could bring people in here that would make me look like I know nothing.
But to make me as an example of what you do, that's not fair. Anyway, Dan is
No, that got the ball rolling. I did.
Dan is historic in the whole music thing. Just knowing, yeah. Anyway,
A lot of stuff.
they should just.
How do you monetize that?
Do they?
Knowing all this
Where do they go to learn about this about you? Wiki?
No, I don't
No.
really.
Yeah, Wiki. Icky.
Look me up. I'm easy to find.
Gene Aguilera.
Hey, Lee Michaels.
How you doing, man? Welcome.
Good. Thank you. First time for me visiting you here in your studio.
How would you describe your journey here? I mean, your journey of what you do. I can see you're so into it. You've written all these books, and
Yes.
yeah, I know it's sort of a loaded question.
No.
How would you describe yourself? Then we'll get into the shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
My name is Gene Aguilera. Born in East LA, as the song says, and I'm still in the pretty much approximate area to East LA, a few miles away, and graduated from USC. And then I went to work in banking for 37 years, Lee. Same place.
Banking?
Same bank I worked at, 37 years. And it was quite a journey. It made some great investments. And along the way, I accumulated a great record collection. And it was in that article that I gave you a few minutes ago, there was an article in the LA Times about me in the magazine. Record collector, LA Weekly. My record collection is mainly like East LA groups, the great East LA groups like the Midnighters, Cannibal and the Headhunters, the Premiers, the Blendells, Ronnie and the Pomona Casuals, the Romancers, all those great East LA bands. And I have all the LPs and 45s of it. Maybe the greatest East LA record collection in the world. But also, of course, I've got, rock and roll, soul, surf, oldies,
So you were doing all this while you were at the bank?
Yeah, I would just collect. Now when I started to make money, I started to go to the record shops and record conventions and record fairs, and I started buying.
Serious about it.
Yeah, I was single at that time, and so nobody stopped me. I'd buy whatever I wanted to buy, and so I accumulated quite a record collection, and I'm starting to divest from it. A little at a time right now. I've got too much. The whole garage is filled up with beautiful shelves there with vinyl.
They're so heavy too.
Yeah, they are. They're
Nothing's heavier than records.
Oh
right?
God, it's.
God.
We moved about 10 years ago, and it wasn't fun.
That's the worst part of the move, right?
Yes,
the
yes,
records,
the worst.
by far.
But yes, I had to build new
The
shelves.
boxes are small enough you think you can move them yourself, but then it's brutal. It's like moving a house.
Yes,
And it's the most important thing that you own.
Yes,
so you gotta
yes.
make sure it
Yes.
doesn't get damaged.
And I've got a couple. I had 5 Seabergs, working Seabergs from the 50s, but when we moved from Montebello to where I live in La Habra, she goes, "Well, we can't take all 5." I go, "What do you mean?" She goes, "No." So we negotiated on me taking 2 jukeboxes to the new house, Seabergs. You could see the changer go like this and pluck the record out.
I know they kind. Yeah.
And so I've got 2 Seabergs at the house, and they all work.
Now, currently?
Yes, currently. Yeah. I had to divest of 3 of them. She says,
That's crazy.
You can't. I said, they're like my kids. How can I sell a jukebox?
That's amazing.
It's like selling a kid.
Yeah. So how old were you when you first went to the Olympic?
Oh my God, I was 10 years old. First time I went to the Olympic
I was
Auditorium.
9 or something first time I went.
And let me tell you the story on that. My uncle, I was living in East LA with my grandmother. My parents split up when I was 6 months old, so I went to my grandmother in East LA. And it was fantastic. It was 6 of us in a one-bedroom unit, not a house, a unit. And but to me, it was normal. You know, that's how I grew up. I go, this is normal. You know, like the Midnighters say, I never knew I had it so bad. And you know, I had a great childhood with her, and she's my parents. She passed away, a few years ago, but she's my parents to me this day, and she made me who I am. And so, the first time I went to Olympic, my uncle, we were watching. Every week, Lee, on Channel 5, Wednesday would be wrestling, Thursday would be boxing, and Friday would be roller derby. So we were watching all three. All three during the week, and it'd be from 8 to 9:30 at Channel 5, KTLA. And my uncle saw they had an ad for come to the Olympic Auditorium and see wrestling. And it's free. It was during the Vietnam War. If you take a bar of soap, you get them for free, each person. So we got a couple bars of soap. We went to see wrestling. And it's weird. It's such a big boxing fan that I am now that the first thing I went to see was wrestling. And I liked it, but eventually, of course, Freddie Blassie and Mr. Moto, Bobo Brazil, Haystack Calhoun, of course, they were all like
entertaining.
Yeah,
but they weren't fighting for their life.
Right.
Yes.
Right. They
weren't fighting for their life.
No.
I
don't think any wrestler lost their life. I don't think so.
Same with roller derby.
Yes.
It was sort of a sport, but they weren't fighting for their life.
Right.
Yes, boxing is beyond.
Boxing is a tough sport, and I gravitated to it.
When did you know that you were into boxing?
When Cassius Clay was fighting Sonny Liston for the world title. Sonny Liston was the champion.
64, 65?
It was 64. I was 11 years old, and they were fighting in Miami Beach. And the whole build-up to that, I
remember that vividly, man.
Yes.
How old were you?
I was 11.
Okay.
11 at that time.
I was a little older.
Uh-huh. And so that's how I got the bug on boxing. That the whole build-up, I am the greatest. The whole thing on Cassius Clay was his name back then. When he fought Sonny Liston is how I got the boxing bug.
Did you go to the Olympic? How old were you when you started going to the boxing?
Yes, I was. Okay, the first time I went to see boxing, I was maybe about 18 years old.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, and in those days, Lee, it was $6.50, $5.50, $4.50 to get in. The $4.50 would be up in the bleachers, $6.50 would be ringside, and even then, that was a stretch, man, to get in. It wasn't,
Yeah.
I mean, I had to hustle and have get a ride over there and find a friend who's going to go and
it was hard to get anybody to go there.
Yes.
I only went there a few times, but it was almost impossible to get anybody to go.
And you played there too on New Year's Eve. Yeah. You had a great show at 4 a.m.
Yeah,
over there.
We played in San Bernardino at midnight. Then we jumped in a car and drove there and played at 4 a.m.
Double dip.
Got 2 New Year's gigs in one night.
They pay the best too.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
my greedy manager. You know who orchestrated those 2 gigs?
No.
Jerry Heller, who went on to become famous with NWA. He was the manager who's so infamous that ripped him off and everything. So they claim. Anyway, that's Jerry Heller. That was my agent then. He put those 2 gigs together.
Wow. You must have slept for 2 days after that, Lee.
I don't remember. I don't remember, to tell you the truth. Wow, the Olympic.
Yeah, the Olympic was it was such it was the epicenter of boxing, and for a while, in the United States and the world, it was huge.
Richmond 95171.
It felt so ominous too. Like trying to go to the Olympic was like scary. Like the parking lot scene was.
Yes.
I always felt sketchy to me. Especially when you're that age. Like if you're older, you can kind of go places and everybody. But there was a lot of young people there. It was could be really intense. And the bathrooms, forget going to the bathroom.
Yeah, the bathrooms would get jammed up, and I'd see guys pissing on the wall because they couldn't wait for the line.
The bathrooms were like going to hell. It was too scary. I couldn't go to the
They were
bathroom.
pissing against the walls, and
No place for a skinny white kid in those bathrooms.
Oh my
That
God.
was not the place. Yeah.
But it was fun. It was it was a place where I kind of grew up in there, going there so much. And
So how many times did you go there?
oh my God.
Right up till it stopped?
Yes, up till it stopped. It stopped in 2004, believe it or
Oh
not.
shit! You went there
But-
that long?
Yeah, but there was different
There was
different
periods
eras.
where it was dark,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I remember.
The Eileen Eden era went from 1942 to 1980, and then she passed away,
Oh.
and then it closed for a while, and then Bob Arum came in the 90s, and they made it the Grand Olympic Auditorium.
And that's when they painted it white.
They painted it
and
gray.
Put the blue upholstery in it.
Yeah, they painted over the murals. They painted it gray and red, or a weird combo, and
They reopened it with the De La Hoya
Yes.
mural and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I saw Danny. That's where I saw Danny down in the bathroom. There. When
oh, Danny Little Red Lopez.
Yeah. Somebody said Lee. I turned around. He was there. I go.
Oh, my
man,
God.
dude! It was like, it was cool seeing him.
Yeah, Danny's a good friend of mine. Even to this day, I just saw him last week.
You said, yeah.
at one of the Hall of Fame dinners in Montebello.
Man, you're busy with this boxing world.
Yeah.
Tell me more, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm here to learn.
Yeah. So then, I went to the Olympics so many times, and I would get all the posters. They had these great, I call them floating head posters, and in fact, I have them hanging right now at the La Plaza Museum. We'll talk about that later, about our little visit over there. And so all these great floating head posters, and they're worth a lot of money right now. And I have most of them signed and autographed by the boxers.
Is that the museum we went to?
Yes, La
Yes.
Plaza.
Yeah.
Do you just remember that one wall with all the great posters?
Yes.
Yeah. And most of those are mine. And I have also at home a bunch more, and
Do you make prints of those or anything?
no, but Danny Little Red's Lopez's wife, she makes copies, and they sell them at different events that we go
Oh,
to.
how cool!
Yeah, because
That would be nice to have some of those.
you let me know, and
Yeah.
I'll make you some prints
Wow.
of the ones some of your favorites. You gotta
I will look at them.
text me
Yeah.
and let me know which ones you like.
How cool.
So yeah, we used to go there at the Olympic a lot, and actually there was this boxer called Salvador Sanchez.
I know the name.
Yeah, he was great. One of the greatest Mexican fighters of all time. He was 44-1, and he died in a tragic automobile accident.
I remember when he died.
Yes, and he had just fought Wilfredo Gomez and at Caesar's Palace, and oh man, one of the greatest fights I've ever seen. The pre-fight ceremony, Lee, was he came in with his mariachi band, and then Gomez from Puerto Rico came in with his salsa band. So they had like a sock hop. Yeah, I write about that in my second book. They had a sock hop battle there, mariachi versus salsa
funny.
band all at the same time.
They were
And-
coming in simultaneously?
Yes, they were playing at the same time while the boxers are
That's
getting
a
ready.
classic. That's a
Oh,
classic.
you got to see it.
That's
watch
on
it.
YouTube?
Yes, watch it on YouTube,
Oh,
please.
wow.
And then I write about it in my book there. But regarding Salvador Sanchez, I had been reading about him. He started to win all these fights in Mexico, and I told my friends, hey, anybody want to go to the Olympic? We're going to see Salvador Sanchez. Who's that? I mean, he was like 17-1 at that time. Who's that? No. Well, he's coming up. Let's go watch him. Nobody wanted to go, so I went by myself. The only time I went to the Olympic by myself, and it was an experience where you have to be on your toes, because you don't want to look at somebody in the the wrong way and start to rumble with them, especially by yourself. So that was quite the experience. I had to park about a block away because everything was sold out. All the Olympic parking lot was sold out. So I parked under the 10 freeway. And what a fight that was. He fought Juan Escobar, and it was a knockdown, drag-down fight that ended in a draw.
Man. Right, 15 rounds, right?
Yeah, it was a non-title fight, so it was a 10-rounder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But so I saw some great fights there,
Amazing.
Yeah.
They used to televise some of those too.
Yes.
I used to
yes.
see them on television.
Thursday
as well.
nights.
Yeah.
And I also went to the Forum a lot too.
Yeah, I went there quite a bit.
Yeah. You took your fighter there.
I got redemption there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not only did Lee Michaels took his fighter there, he played there. He was headliner at the Forum, as we all know.
There you go.
Yeah.
So what happens when you have
Wherever he
people
went with
on
the
the show.
boxer, he ended up
Yeah.
performing there. You know, I
Yes.
guess that was a rule. What was it? It was Stroh's boxing at the Forum, right? I went
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Stroh's championship. You know. made
Yeah,
it-
and then they had a different one at some point too. I got those guys really mad at me. I told the story already, but
Uh-huh.
I had a boxer I was going to manage, and they agreed to book the boxer, and they told me, look, usually we don't deal with guys like you because you're not in the business. The one thing you have to guarantee is that your fighter will show up. And I said, I guarantee that. We accepted the fight. And a week and a half later, my fighter changes his mind. I got to call him and tell him, and the guy just ripped me up and called me every name in the book. He says, that's why we don't deal with people like you. You'll never do anything
Oh, my
again.
God.
You know, and he's telling me all that stuff. So he says, well, the next time you see me, I'll have a real fighter.
Yeah.
And so the next time he saw me, I had Lionel, and
Yeah.
we beat their guy.
Yeah.
And they were sure they were going to win, so that was cool.
Wow.
We loved it.
At least you got a background in boxing, man.
I love
You know?
boxing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you see Canelo this last weekend?
Oh, yes.
Yes. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Yes, I was just going to
Yeah.
ask you about,
Yeah.
did you see Canelo? Let's talk about that.
Yeah. For it wasn't on Cinco de Mayo. It was on 4th of May. But did you watch it, Dan?
Didn't see
The
it.
Canelo fight.
I didn't buy it, but I watched it. you
Yeah.
know.
I paid $90.
You did?
Yeah.
Was it worth the 90?
It was. Yeah. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
After I saw it, I went, I'm glad I didn't spend the 90.
Yeah,
You know,
yes,
I say I'd be bummed out if I was sitting here going, oh, fuck, I spent $90 to see that.
Yes,
You know?
yeah, I paid 90,
Yeah.
man. But it was
Go ahead. Tell me about it. What do
It
you
was
think?
it was a good fight between two really good Mexican fighters, and he fought a guy named Jaime Munguia from Tijuana, who was undefeated. He was 43-0,
Yeah.
36 knockouts, and Canelo is been one of the pound for pound best for the last 10 years, and so. It was a good build-up to the fight. De La Hoya got in there and he mixed it up with Canelo at the press conference. He started
I saw those.
cussing each other
I
out.
saw that. Yeah, that was good.
Cuss each other. They even charged each other.
Canelo's moving he's moving a little slower now that he's
Yes.
heavier. I don't like how he's
Yes.
slowed down.
Yes,
He's not the
yes.
same guy.
No.
I wish he was like drop a weight class, but
He's up to
You know what I
168.
mean?
Yeah, he's at 168
doesn't-
super middle.
he's not. He had a little better movement
Right.
a couple of weight classes ago.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was a good
Look
fight.
Look at me talking about Canelo. Yeah, fuck me.
No.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a good fight.
It was a good fight. It was a 12-round, unanimous decision, and it was at least they fought. That's what all we wanted, is to see a good fight. And they both, Canelo knocked him down in the 4th round. And
Yeah, it was a good knockdown too.
Yeah.
Bing, bing.
Yeah.
He surprised him.
Yeah.
Because he'd never been knocked down, right?
Right, and Munguia was kind of never the same after that.
I was going to say the first time you get knocked down, it works a head trip on your ass.
Wow, and then you got to go.
You've
You got
seen it a
another 8
million
rounds to
times,
go.
right? Yeah.
Then you go, shit, I got 8 rounds to go.
It just makes you, it changes your outlook in an instant. And think you have this one outlook. You've never lost. You've never been down. You're just undefeatable. And all of a sudden you're on the floor, and it's like somebody flipped a switch. Your whole
Yes.
world has changed in an
Yes.
instant. It's never the same after that.
You got 18,000 people there,
Yeah.
and you got another, million at home watching.
But it'll never be the same. You'll never
No.
never have that feeling, that totally invincible feeling
Right.
again. It's humbling.
But the 10 million that he got helps a little bit.
Oh man, it soothes
It helps.
out.
It soothes it out a little bit.
Yeah, 10 million.
Yeah.
Not
yeah,
bad.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What do you think of $90 for pay-per-views?
I think it's
kind of
way too much
excessive,
money.
right?
It's way too much
Especially
money.
when the audience is so vast now.
Yes.
I mean, like 1 trillion people can watch it. Maybe if it was half as much, maybe twice as many people would watch it.
Right,
Yeah, why didn't
right.
you invite me to your house?
Yeah, you guys come down.
Drive 2 hours?
Yeah.
I'll pay
That's
90,
true.
not
That's
the-
To
true.
see a $20 fight.
That's true. That's true. You guys got the beach right here,
Yeah.
We got the Amazon. We got the beach. Why leave it?
So, are these Tell me about these books.
Sure, sure.
They're all sort of different, but they have a
Yes.
sameness about them as well.
Yes, yes.
So they're just the new versions of each book?
Well, I could give you a little description on each
Okay.
book if you want.
Sure.
A little background. In 1973, I met Ruben Olivares, who's one of the greatest of bantamweight, probably the greatest bantamweight of all time. Idol from Mexico City. He was just at my house he just left a couple days ago, went home. I had him here to do signings and attend the Hall of Fame with me. And so I used to go hang out at the Main Street Gym. I don't know if you ever went there,
I knew
Lee.
that, Jim, but I
Yeah.
didn't hang out there.
Yeah, I went
But
there.
I knew it.
Because see, when I was going to USC from East LA, I would, I'd pull in there, because I love boxing so much, just to hang out, and you'd see Alexis Arguello, Roberto Duran, just all, Danny Little Red Lopez, Carlos Palomino, all the greatest. So I would pull in there, and I knew a friend of mine. His name was Jojo Torres, who was working with Ruben Olivares. So Jojo goes, man, I'm going to start getting into acting. He started, extra. He started to get work as an extra. He goes, and I was going to USC at that time. So he goes, Gene, you got some free time here? If you don't mind, let me introduce you guys, and you can help out Ruben. So me and Ruben became very close. I started, taking him to Griffith Park to run, taking him to the gym, taking him to eat. And I didn't have no money in those days. And Ruben would always take care of me and pick up the tab. And, I was his second there for a while. And I'll show you later on in one of these books that shows us we're at the park doing road work. And so that was my really big move that I got into boxing. Here I was associated with the 4-time world champion, Ruben Olivares, who won his 4 titles at the Forum, 2-time Bantam, 2-time featherweight world champion.
So that's how you got your foot in the door?
Yes, that's how
All
through
right.
Ruben. So, I helped Ruben throughout his career as much as I could, and as I still am today. And he got inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1991. And they opened up in 1990 with Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier, all the great champions. And Ruben came in, the second induction class. So that tells you how great he is. They didn't wait 10 years to induct him.
Yeah.
Second year in, he's in. And you should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, by the way, if you're not. I just want that. I had to throw that in.
I don't want to go down
Okay,
that road.
no, we will.
Where is the
We
Boxing
will.
Hall of Fame?
The Boxing Hall of Fame is in Canastota, New York, and it's we fly into Syracuse, and it's 1 hour from Syracuse.
How did it end up there?
Just great fans that set one up over there, and they have a museum.
Yeah, I've seen the whole thing there. I've watched the what do you call it? The Boxing Fame, and they
Yes.
show the town and the whole deal.
Yes, it's a little
Yeah,
village,
yeah.
and there's the International Boxing Hall of Fame. So we went in 1991, and me and Ruben just had a great time over there. Ruben signed autographs for everyone, and consequently, they invited us every year since 1991 until 2018 was the last time we got called in, and they were going with a younger crowd now. They go, hey, you guys had your
You guys
run.
did that for 20 years?
Yes, you guys had your
Wow.
run. Now we're going to go with the Barrera, Morales,
You did have your
Marquez.
run.
But we had a great time. We had a great run over
That's
there, Lee.
amazing.
So I met boxers, I met collectors, and I just accumulated, posters and pictures that I used for my books. And around 2012, I went to Barnes & Noble, and I bought this book called Mexican American Baseball in Los Angeles. And I looked through it. I bought it, went home. I said, you know what? I could do something like this. So I sent an email to Arcadia Publishing, and I says, I'd like to put a book out with you guys, and I know I can do a great job because I saw what a great job you guys did with the baseball book. And they said, okay, we'll send us some writing, some of your writings and some pictures. And so I sent it in, and they sent me a contract. So in 2014, my first book came out right here,
Which one?
which is this one right here. Yes, this is my first book. Came out in 2014, and this book is mainly the Mexican Americans who fought at the Olympic Auditorium and the Forum.
Oh, cool.
Bobby Chacon, Danny Little Red Lopez, Carlos Palomino, Armando the Man Muñiz, Oscar the Boxer Muñiz, Herman Montes, that's on the cover.
Now, do you remember all these guys from the old days, or do you remember
no,
them?
yes,
Or do you
yes.
remember them more
No,
as
I
historical figures?
I went to see him at the Olympic, you know.
Okay.
And I scratched and scrimped and got myself in there.
Who's that on the cover there?
Okay, that's Herman Montes right here, who was never the world champion. And I got to tell you guys a story. Everybody asked me, Herman was never a world champion, but he was a great fighter. He knocked out Pepino Cuevas at the Olympic. And the Arcadia Publishing says, send us 10 pictures you would like for the cover, and we'll choose it. So I sent 10 in. I never thought that they would choose this one, but I'm glad they did.
They selected it?
Yes, they did. I'm glad they did, because look, there you got Jimmy Lennon right here.
Right.
You have the referee John
The
Thomas.
greatest Jimmy Lennon,
The greatest, the dad.
Yeah, I remember the day the son took over. It was a big ceremony.
Yeah,
was that,
yes,
was that
yes.
the Olympic, or was
Yes,
it at
I
the
think it was at
Forum?
the Olympic. He was grooming him, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Remember?
Dad was grooming Junior,
They
and,
did the switching of the
yeah,
guard.
Junior was announced the Canelo fight this last weekend.
Yeah.
So
And Joe Goosen was there.
yeah,
Was
Goosen.
one of the announcers.
Yeah. So they chose this, and I asked him, I go, you know, he's not a world champion, and I thought maybe they'd go with Palomino or Little Red, but they say no. Look at his arm is raised up. It's at a peak. It's like this.
It's a great cover.
Yes. His hand is up.
They were right. They didn't care who it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
They said visually it tells a great story.
Plus, he gets his due since he never got to be champ.
Yes, Lee.
Right?
That's 100,000% correct. And Herman has thanked me. He goes, I never was world champion, but this makes me feel good.
Yeah, it should.
Yeah,
It's really cool.
you're
That
exactly
book,
right.
You gave me that book that you
Yes,
signed, and
yes.
also he signed it. He
Yeah,
signed
Herman.
the cover, yeah.
Did you go to the Larchmont?
Yeah, the Larchmont, yeah, the bookstore in Larchmont, yeah.
Larchmont. It was called. What's it called? I forget.
Larchmont Books,
Yeah, there you go.
something.
So I had a book signing, and Dan was there. You know, this was 2014,
Yeah.
and Herman was there, and we had a great time. And so this is about the mostly the Mexican Americans who fought at the Olympic and the Forum.
Man, you've really put your time in.
Yeah. Oh, let me tell you, Lee, it's like making a
I mean, you
record.
put your time in 20 years.
Yeah, yeah,
And also,
20 years going to that event alone.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Just,
yeah. The Hall of Fame every year.
fuck.
what I learned, like growing up with, my dad was way into like Muhammad Ali. I always talk
Mm-hmm.
about Joe Louis, but these guys would fight every few months or something. It'd be a tomato can or something, and then there'd be a build up to a big fight. All these guys in your book fought every month, and
Basically,
they won
yeah.
or lost, and
Yeah,
won, you
yeah.
know what I mean. It wasn't so much that you're going to groom somebody to keep winning. It was
The
just like they
refs
fought.
were more lenient too.
Yeah, yeah. They let you fight.
They-
you know.
People got beat up pretty bad.
Yeah. Look, that happened a lot.
Yeah.
So Lee, I was working at that when I wrote this book. I was working full time, got married, had my two daughters, busy and working on music with. I was managing Little Willie G and the Blazers. Dan used to come and see us there, and so I had a lot of stuff going on. But I used to say at 3, 4 in the morning. It's like making an album. You just dedicate as much time as you can to make
Yeah.
it the best record or book that you can.
Dylan and I just finished a film. It took us a year and a half,
Wow.
almost 2 years to make. And
Tell us about it.
I've talked a lot about it on the
Okay.
podcast, but I'll tell you about it. when we're-
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
But I know when you dive into something,
Mhm.
you really dive in. So I
Yes.
can imagine with the book. So
Yes,
You
I'm
just-
very
you just
passionate
dove
about
in,
it.
you
Yeah,
know.
dove straight.
it
And-
consumes you day and night. It's not like you just.
And
Yeah.
I always thank my wife for letting me be myself, letting me do what I want. Not grinding me or whining that hey, you're spending too much time. She knows that's what I love to do.
She's cool.
She's cool. It's a cool
And the
She's
lady.
books
cool.
are fantastic. All.
Thank
Jesus.
you,
Yeah,
Dan.
just
They're all
ima-
great.
yeah,
Great
just
photos, great stories,
Yeah,
everything.
They're easy books to read. You open it up, there's a picture and a caption and a story, and you don't have to worry about.
That's how a boxing book should be, right?
Yes. You don't want
Yeah.
to learn when the kid won his first amateur fight. I'm sticking just to the pros.
Exactly.
And you open it up and you read what you want to read, and then you pick it up later on and read wherever you want to,
Yeah. The days leading up to today,
Yes.
we did boxing on Friday and we did boxing on Monday. So I was telling boxing stories.
Wow.
And I have great piss test stories when we fought Tony Tubbs down in Pensacola. Anyway, if you get a chance to watch those, I think you'll like it.
Yeah, I'll watch it on, is it on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but leading up, I thought, oh, Gene's coming, so we got to get the audience in the mood for boxing.
Get them warmed up, right?
Yeah. So you primed up, and we were talking about you saying you were going to be here. And,
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so check it out.
Thank you.
Let's keep going. What's the next book here?
Yeah, let's go. Okay, the second book was this one. The first book came out in 2014. This one came out in 2018.
All right.
So it was a 4-year gap there. And on this book, Lee.
Did they pick the cover on this one too?
Yes, they did. I sent them various ones, and this was when it was the Grand Olympic Auditorium.
Oh.
And this book is in color. This is the only one that I have of my books that are in color, and it's mainly about the Mexicanos and Latinos who fought in Los Angeles: Julio Cesar Chavez, Salvador Sanchez, Ruben Olivares, Pepino Cuevas, Lupe Pintor, all the great fighters from Mexico.
Who's that on the cover?
Okay, this on the cover is Carlos Palomino.
Oh.
I'll tell you a little story about this. This is when it was called the Grand Olympic. Carlos was a great welterweight champion, WBC welterweight champion of the world. He was champion from 1977 to 1980. He had 9 title defenses. He fought some great fighters. And on his last defense, it was against Wilfredo Benitez in Puerto Rico, in Benitez's country. And it was a close, Palomino lost, and he retired at that time. He was 30 years old. And fast forward to 1998, 18 years, he decides to make a comeback at age 48. Unbelievable. He wins his first 4 fights.
What weight did he come back at?
At welter. He stayed at welter.
Still there?
Still welter.
Ah.
Great shape. You got to meet Carlos Palomino. He's come out and he's also an actor. He's come out in many movies. He's working on a documentary and movie about his life right now.
And he's here in L.A.?
Yeah, he lives in L.A. Well, he was in L.A. He was from Mexico originally. Then when he fought, he was fighting out of Westminster under Jackie McCoy. And so then when he makes his comeback, he wins 4 fights, all by knockout. His 5th fight was against Wilfredo Rivera right here, who was much younger. He decided to pick it up a little bit, pick up the competition, and Wilfredo Rivera here from Puerto Rico just lost to Oscar De La Hoya. So it ended up as a close decision loss for Carlos, and he retired at age 48 finally. But it was an incredible comeback at that age. I mean,
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
He lost that fight?
He lost that fight, and then he said, that's it,
He didn't get knocked out, though.
No, he didn't get knocked out.
Yeah.
No, it was a close fight. It still was close.
Oh.
And he had a 7-month...
Tough way to make a living.
Yeah, it is. It is. We went to party after the fight. We went to Casa Vega there on
After that fight?
Yeah. We went to have some drinks, margaritas.
Now, what was his attitude about making a comeback?
You know what?
I mean, his mental state. Was he just doing it for the money? Was it just a business proposition, or was he passionate? Was he?
No, he had this vision, Lee. He had a vision. His dad had just died, and his dad was very responsible for making him a boxer. His dad had just passed away, and he said he went to Westminster Gym because he always stays in shape. And he was there, and he had a vision that his dad spoke to him and said, son, if you want, make your comeback. So Macho Camacho had been training at the Westminster Gym. So Carlos asked Macho, he goes, hey, do you mind if I go a few rounds with you? And Macho goes, sure, I thought you were just, training and just getting in shape. So Carlos went in the ring with Macho Camacho and held his own. Macho was active fighter at that time. He held his own, and he says, you know what? I think I could do this one more time, as a promise to his father. And
That's
So-
an interesting story.
Yeah, yeah. I write about it. I write about that whole story in this book here.
What's really interesting is you were right there.
Yeah, I was right there.
Living it with him, you know.
Carlos had called. Check this out. I always tell this story. Carlos had called me on a Saturday morning, and this is before I knew that he was making his comeback. He called me on a Saturday morning. I partied the night before. I had a little bit of hangover, and I had this house in Montebello, top of the hill, bachelor pad, a banker, having fun,
Right.
single life. And so he calls me up, goes, "Hey, come down to the Westminster gym." I go, "Oh man, my head's hurting. Come down. Okay. So I go down there, I was there, and I'll be there in 45 minutes. I was there. And so he goes, "Hey, could you help me with my gloves?" I put his gloves on and mouthpiece, and he jumps in and does a few rounds with his boxer there. And I trying to figure out what he hits the speed bag, the heavy bag, jumps rope. I go, "Yo, it's good. What are we gonna do?" He goes, I want you here because I want to tell you, you're the first person to know in the public that I'm going to make my comeback. I go, "Carlos, you're 47. I want to make my comeback." And he told me about his story about his father. So I was honored that he included me
So you were right there for all those fights.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
yeah.
He fought at the Hollywood Palladium twice
Oh, I
during his
remember
comeback.
when they had fights there.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't go.
Yeah, he fought Rene Arredondo and knocked him, ex-former champion, lightweight champion. He knocked him out in the first round.
Maybe I did go to a fight there once.
Uh-huh.
And it was really weird the way the ring was.
Yes. It was
Right?
Right. It was right where the audience is in front of the
It
stage.
was so weird.
The dressing rooms were really weird,
Yeah.
Isn't Tyson making a comeback?
Yeah.
57 or something?
Tyson's making a
Yeah,
comeback, Dan.
57.
Dan, that's it, man. That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
But it's a big payday. Let's say he's going to get 10 million or
Oh, he'll probably make more than that.
whatever he's going to get.
But I heard that they had to, because of it, there's such an age difference, and Jake Paul is he's a big, young, tough kid, right? And I heard they're going to make it 8 rounds, 2-minute rounds instead of 3, and 14-ounce gloves.
2-minute rounds sort of favors Mike.
Yeah. What he's like
14
57.
ounce?
12, I think 14 or 12-ounce gloves.
14, I don't know.
They're going to be like pillows, Lee.
Yeah, that 14. That's sparring gloves.
Yeah. Well, you don't want Tyson or Jake Paul to get hurt. But
I want him to get hurt.
Yeah.
He talked bad about Ali, man. I did a whole thing on one of my podcasts telling him that was wrong, and it's wrong to talk about Ali.
Right.
Who did? Tyson?
No, Jake Paul.
Oh, good.
And so I was saying, on my podcast, I was saying, I hope he kicks your ass. He deserves it. He deserves an ass whipping for that.
Yes.
He said some really disrespectful stuff about Ali.
Yeah. How can you disrespect the greatest?
Yeah, because he was a great humanitarian as well. I mean, a great person. It's like disrespecting a saint. Like
Yes,
Ali's
yes.
up there. He's some kind of saint of some sort.
Yes.
On some level, he is. Yeah. Anyway,
I got a couple pictures of Ali in my books. I
talk
made
about
sure
him.
of that.
I talk about him working out in my gym and hanging out there and sleeping in the back and taking naps. He was there for almost 11 days. One day he wasn't there.
Uh-huh.
But one of the podcasts I'm talking about that. It's pretty. It's a pretty interesting story. If you
I got to look it up.
Want to hear it? Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
It's good. Tommy Hearns trained for the Virgil Hill fight at my gym.
Wow. Tell me where your gym was at.
It was on West Washington Boulevard, right here, which is called Abbott Kinney now.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a gym there. And I lived upstairs, and the gym was downstairs.
Wow.
And I opened the gym, and all of a sudden, Tommy Hearns was there getting ready for the Virgil Hill fight. I had this old guy that was doing it with me. He knew everybody. And since we weren't managing anybody and being how you go to somebody's gym, it's like their territory.
Mm-hmm.
My gym was neutral, so anybody could come there.
Good.
And so I just got lucky, and all of a sudden, all these great people were there. And then Muhammad Ali started showing up and hanging out because he knew this old guy that was running the gym with me. And I just sat there and enjoyed the whole spectacle.
Wow.
I know you know exactly what I'm saying too. It's such an honor to be there, right?
Yes.
Do you feel like that?
Yes.
Like I always feel like, man, it's such an honor,
I got invited to the Main Street gym one time, and Ali was having a private just workout himself. And so I ran down there. It was another Saturday morning. Oh my God, in the late 70s. And I took my little brownie camera with me, and he was, nobody. It was just him, sparring and working in all the bags, and getting the massage on the massage table,
Yeah, the
and then
table,
he fell
right.
asleep. And I took a picture with him, and
Sleeping on the table?
yeah,
Yeah,
he took a nap.
he
He took a
was-
nap.
I got a thing where I'm talking about him sleeping on the table with a bottle of water, and then he leaps up out of a dead sleep and goes, "It's magic time." And
Wow.
he does those little magic
Yes.
tricks. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a picture of him doing a little flotation outside of the gym,
Yeah, he's funny.
It seems like he's like floating in the air.
You got to watch the segment where I talk about that. It's good. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What, is it recent?
The segment?
Yeah, your
Yeah,
segment.
yeah.
Okay.
I'll send you a link to
Yeah,
it so you
please,
know which one it
please.
is.
Please, Lee.
Let's keep going.
Yeah.
So this book, I love the book with the colored pictures.
Yes, that's the only one of my four.
Yeah, I looked through this and I was going, yeah, I like all these things.
It's got posters, programs.
You know what shocks me when I look at this? I always, I knew all those guys a lot of those fighters were small. They were lightweights.
Yes.
But when I go through your book, it really stands out. You see, man, these guys were little guys that were so tough, man. Just the toughest little guys, man. Just a zillion of them. Just like they're all just amazingly tough guys.
Those fighters from Mexico or East LA, they gave you your money's worth.
Man, they just stood in there and fought.
Yes.
Man.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, Gene.
Yes, sir.
I was telling Lee
Yes.
earlier that my dad used to go to the Olympic occasionally for a boxing match, and he went once, and the guy got knocked out, taken off in a stretcher, he was in a coma, and then later died.
Yes.
Do you know who
Yes,
that
that
fight
was Lupa Pitor against Johnny Owen.
No. This would have been in the 50s.
Ah, okay. No, I don't know.
Okay.
Don't know.
All right. Never mind.
Don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know what. Unfortunately, casualties in the ring happen. Every decade it happens.
It's for real. We were talking about that earlier, I guess. It's people are fighting for their lives.
Yes.
It's
a tough way to make a living.
we were talking about how some fighters are more like athlete fighters, and other fighters it's just like
Brawlers.
they just but their energy is like they're just fighting for their life. You can feel it, And then
Yes.
sometimes guys combine both elements. They're athletic and they're fighting for their life, and then it's just like unstoppable. How do you fight a guy like that? It's not a occupation for a middle class wannabe.
Right.
Yeah.
Did these guys who fought each other at the Olympic or from East LA, did they all hang out? Were they friends?
There was rivalries,
Yeah, okay.
There was rivalries. He had Mondo Ramos from Long Beach, and one of his
Yeah.
rivals was Raul Rojas of Wilmington, and you had Mondo Ramos and Ruben Navarro, who was from Maravilla in East LA, Maravilla neighborhood. So you had rivalries.
Pretty
yeah.
tough world too. Everybody is
You had Albert.
serious shit.
Yeah. You had Albert Davila from Pomona against Superfly Sandoval from Pomona. They went to the same high school, and they fought each other. So there were real neighborhood rivalries in those days.
Remember that guy from Wells Fargo? What was his name? He got
Promoter?
he got caught up in the Muhammad Ali
Yes,
scandal. And
yes.
He did like 7 years, 8 years.
Yes, yeah, he stole a lot of money.
It was 14 million that they knew of.
Yes.
He came to when I had my gym. He came to my gym and he was banned from boxing after that. So, but he came and tried to buy my gym, but he had a front guy that fronted for him. Because he couldn't be involved himself, So he was a weird character. He had the gift of rap, the gift of gab. He was pretty slick, and his, but it was, everything he said sounded like didn't ring true to me.
crock.
Yeah, but
I think he passed away already.
he did.
I'm pretty sure he did. I think I read about that.
Oh,
Except I can't remember his name.
he was crazy.
You remember him, Dan?
These guys he brought that were fronting from it was a man and his son. They would stand out in front of our gym. And our gym, you couldn't really tell it was a gym. It had mirrored kind of stuff on the windows, so we didn't have a sign up, like it wasn't that kind of place. But they would stand out in the front of the gym and scream at each other, this father and son, and they were both really
Oh, my God.
overweight. And they would stand there, the son would stand there with a handful of $100 bills, throwing the bills on his father, and his father would go, oh yeah, and his father would pull out his money. And they'd be standing there throwing $100 bills at each
God.
other. And this is a true story. They'd be standing like this close, spitting on each other, screaming at each other, throwing $100 bills on each other. I don't need your money. Well, I don't need your money. And they're throwing $100 bills at each other. And these were the guys that Harold Rossville Smith brought around to try to buy my gym. And we were sitting there looking through the windows at these guys because they couldn't see. We were just sitting there watching them do this shit. But they would carry on like that out in front of the gym, and we'd just go, what the fuck? Like, it was so weird,
They should have been in the wrestling game rather than the boxing game with those kind of theatrics.
Yeah, I won't go any more about those guys, but it was pretty crazy shit. But that's Harold Rossfield Smith. So when you mention the Main Street Gym, and I think about that scandal,
That's
you
his
said
name. We just remembered his name, right?
yeah, Harold Rossfield Smith.
That's his name.
And you saying you were a banker, instantly I thought, oh,
Yeah,
fuck,
yeah.
a banker. I wonder if you knew Harold Rossfield Smith.
I didn't know him, no.
Yeah, that
no,
was
thank
before your
God.
time, right? Yeah.
Thank God.
Oh, man.
Thank God I didn't know.
He was an early smart scammer. He scammed $14 million from Wells fucking
Phony
Fargo. How do you do
loans?
that?
I think it was
How do you do that?
I think he just got phony loans.
But he said, he claims he took the fall. There were some other people involved, not just him. He wasn't the only one at the bank that knew what was up. That, according to him,
Something
naturally.
like that, yeah. He's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
gonna-
Who knows? He
But
was running it all
did-
down to me,
He did his penance, right?
Yeah.
He did his time.
Wow. Let's keep going. Sorry,
Yeah,
I talk
yeah.
about my own shit.
No,
and
no,
I'm
I
here to
love
talk-
it.
I'm here to talk about your
Well,
shit.
I'm- We got to hear your stories too.
Yeah, they're all on my thing. I'll send you the link.
Yeah. This one came out in 2021. It's my third book called Lost Stories of West Coast Latino Boxing. It's got a chapter on Danny Lared Lopez. It's got a chapter on Alberto Davila. Got a chapter on Carlos Zarate. And some great stories in here.
Is Zarate from East LA?
No, he's from Mexico City.
That's what I thought.
Yes. And talks about, just the ring idols, Mexican ring idols invade sunny California is one of my chapters.
Very good.
But this is, here's a picture of me and Don Frazier, who was the promoter at the Olympic and the Forum.
I remember, I never met him, but naturally I know the name.
Yeah, there he is right there. Here's across the way is a picture of Eileen Eaton, Dick Enberg, and Mickey Davies, who was the matchmaker there.
Who was the matchmaker towards the end of the Forum? Not the last incarnation, but the one before that, back when I was...
At the Forum? Tony Curtis?
Tony Curtis, that's the guy
Yeah,
that
yeah.
cussed me out and told me I'd never work again in the business.
Jesus.
He just reamed my ass, and I deserved it too. I took it. I told him you're absolutely right. He kept telling me what he just really like fucking went off on me, and I kept telling him I totally agree with you. You're absolutely right. I said, I go, the next time you see me, I'll have a real boxer. He goes, there won't be a next time. You're done in boxing, and like he was like telling me, and so anyway.
He just passed away about a year ago.
How funny.
Yeah, he was from
Not
Panama.
funny that he passed away,
Yeah,
but
he-
funny. Small
he was-
world.
Was Dick Enberg a regular announcer at the Olympics?
No, at the Olympic, yes, back in that was his first gig, Dan. That was before he went to UCLA basketball and,
Yeah.
fame and fortune after that.
All things LA.
But keep going. Sorry.
Yeah.
Once again, I interrupt your shit.
No,
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
keep going, Lee.
That's my specialty, interrupting.
Man, hey, the questions are all great.
I'm learning as we go,
Yeah,
It's like I have a million guests. Not like people are lining up to be on a podcast that has 174 subscribers.
Yeah,
That's 174?
And growing.
I would
I'm growing. I'm joking.
I would do this if you had 2 subscribers.
Okay, good. I'm glad. I'm enjoying this.
I'm here for the spirit.
Plus, we were boxing fans, for sure.
and music fans.
Yeah. And you know I'm a boxing fan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know it. I'm
Yeah,
not,
big time.
I'm not pretending to be a
No,
boxing fan.
no, you know your shit.
But I'm
You know
not,
your shit.
Yeah. I'm not pretending to be a fan. I'm a real fan. That's
Well, you
what I'm
watch the
saying.
Canelo fight. I'm sure you're going to watch the Tyson fight to beat the shit out. So you
I
beat
will
the
just
shit out
because
of
I want to
Jake
see
Paul.
that guy get beat up.
Yes.
That's
The
the
day I went to meet Lee.
you know what I like about UFC guys coming to fight boxers?
What's that?
Is that they get fucking knocked out
Yes.
and they can't take a punch, and then it
Yes.
sets them straight. Like, stay to your
Yes.
own sport. If be your wrestling ass. Get down on the floor and give each other nookies and shit. but boxing is an honorable tradition.
Yes,
It's like
yes.
fucking soccer.
It's
or something.
self-defense.
Yeah, it's just life and death. It's like, and when these guys come and think they can just waltz into boxing and start at the top, I don't like that either.
Right,
That's what I don't
right.
like about Jake Paul. I don't care how many influencers he has or how many people have him on the internet, or yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, he's a punk.
I think you got to fight your way up,
Right.
because the guys that are at the top, except for the heavyweights, they fought their way there.
Lee, look what happened when Floyd Mayweather made his last fight against what's his name?
Pacquiao.
No. One after that. He was a UFC guy. I can't.
I don't know if I even watched
Somebody
that.
help me.
Not Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor.
I didn't
His
even
last
watch
fight.
Lucky guess.
His last fight.
I didn't watch that.
I watched that one. McGregor was first fight. He was 0-0 fighting against a guy who was 49-0. And, Mayweather just carried him to the 9th round, and he got rid of him. But McGregor was gassed out by the 9th, because those guys are used to fighting 1, 2, 3 rounds maximum. And then they tap out. But
I should go back and watch that fight.
Watch it. He carried him. That was a great build up to that fight.
I can't believe I didn't see that fight.
They had press conferences in London, New York, LA.
I remember the build up to it.
Oh, it was fantastic. They were cussing each other out on stage, and
I thought it was
as far as Lee being a boxing fan, the first time I met with him, I think 2015, to talk about the music project. Pacquiao had just fought, I think, who did you say? Mayweather.
Mayweather.
It was like the big fight. He
Yeah.
asked me if I watched it. Next thing you know, we were talking about that for about an hour. Hadn't even mentioned anything else. So
it was a terrible
like,
fight.
yeah.
That was a terrible fight, by the way.
Sometimes fights are terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know. If,
like a-
last Saturday, I would have been bummed out if I spent $90.
Yeah, oh my God.
Yeah.
You know what, Lee? I'll feel it when
Were
I
you
get
alone? Did you watch it alone?
No, my family watched it with me. We sat around.
Big 9 day.
Hey,
Big 9-0.
Saturday night, man.
There you go. What could you do?
Saturday night boxing.
Yeah.
That's
Well, let's keep going.
It's a tradition at my house,
Yeah. Mine
Okay.
too.
This book just came out.
This from Mexican American
Yes,
Boxing.
February the 25th, 2024. Mexican American Boxing from the Golden State.
The same company?
Same company. All
So
of them are
you're
the same
selling
company.
enough of these that they want to do it repeat?
Yeah. You know what? Let me tell you a story about this one. Let me backtrack a little bit. If you look up bookauthority.org, this is a number 56 best boxing selling book of all time. Right
That's
here.
quite an accomplishment.
I'm very proud of that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
job,
Thank you, Dan.
Gino.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And it's about a regional
Yes,
thing.
topic, right?
Which even makes it more amazing.
And this is the only, my books are the only ones that feature only Mexican or Mexican American boxers. I don't delve into other areas that I don't know. I'm an expert in this, and that's why he sticks to this. So this is number 56 of all time, and this is including books of Ali, Tyson, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm really proud of that. There I am with Bobby Chacon.
And this girl, you put the
Let's see.
salacious shit in your book here.
Yes, that's his second wife that took all his money.
Yeah, there you go. Here we go.
You see that picture of me right there, Lee, with Bobby?
I do.
Yeah. That's at the Main Street Gym.
I was talking earlier about how it's so weird how boxers always wear the worst suits. Have you ever noticed that? The older boxers, when they show up at places, you think, where did they get these suits? And they look totally uncomfortable in them. But it's a beautiful thing. I like it.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's the banker
It's so
Gino
funny.
right there
Yeah.
in the late 70s.
Dude, you look the same.
Oh, my God.
You're lucky.
I wish, Lee.
I wish I looked the same.
I wish.
Anyway,
I wish.
there you go.
So this book just came out, and it's about, I cover Yaqui Lopez from Stockton. I cover Mando Ramos from Long Beach. I cover Art Frias and Oscar the Boxer Muniz from Boyle Heights. I cover Art Aragon, who went to Roosevelt High School in Boyle Heights. So,
Oh, and you know Audie Aragon.
yes, I do.
Yes.
I know Adi, yes. Adi has been very, very kind to loan us his dad's stuff.
I saw the stuff.
Which we could talk about whenever you want about the museum.
I signed his dad's guitar.
Wow.
Audie has this guitar that he got from his dad.
Uh-huh.
And the people that have signed this guitar is amazing. Richard Nixon, Buzz
Oh, my
Aldrin. And they signed it back in the day,
Is it acoustic guitar?
Yeah.
I have a picture of Art playing that, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I can send it to you if you
That's
want.
how I met him. A friend of mine knows him, and he wanted me to sign it. And I couldn't believe he wanted me to sign it. Of all people, I mean, the people on that guitar, Keith Richards. There's all these kind
Jesus.
of like, it's just you can't even explain how many people signed this guitar, and people you wouldn't think of, like not limited to music at all. Like I said, Nixon and Buzz Aldrin and all these different people, all because of his celebrity in boxing.
Yes. His dad, the original Golden Boy.
Yeah,
by the way.
and he would never give the name up. Audie was telling me the deal.
Yes.
Like Oscar tried to get the name from him, and he wouldn't give it up.
He didn't like Oscar.
He didn't. Yeah.
The story is.
I'll let Audie tell that story.
Yeah. The story is, Lee, is what I got from the newspapers and magazines, that Aragon wouldn't go see De La Hoya because he was using his name, and
He was.
and so finally, they invited Art to go see De La Hoya against Rafael Reles in Las Vegas at Caesar's Palace. So Art goes, hey, by the way, how much is Oscar going to make for this fight? And they told him $9 million. He goes, you know what? If he could make $9 million, God bless him, he could have the name. Take it. So that was the passing of the torch right there.
You just gave him the name for free?
Well, yeah, free.
Fuck, because I know he tried to buy it from him.
Yeah.
What a guy, what a man.
If he's making $9 million, he can have it. That's good for him.
Audie has a great story of his father punching out the sheriff over in Catalina. It's like a great story, and he was already famous and everything. And Audie's got great stories. Yeah. Audie, wherever you are, come on the show. We need some great stories.
Yeah, bring Audie here.
Yeah.
The Golden Boy was like, wasn't he? He was like legendary at like speaking engagements.
Yes,
Like
he was better than probably the best comedian that I've ever seen. I mean, I would laugh so hard I'm crying. He came to our Lions Club, the East LA Lions Club. We invited him, and he came in for an hour and just, our stomachs were hurting, tears, just telling the greatest jokes of all time.
I would have loved to have been there.
Yeah. And I had him sign a glove for me that day.
How nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a story here in my new book, Lee, on the Art Aragon chapter where Art goes into this Mexican restaurant on Sunset Boulevard. I have the name of the restaurant in the book, and he's there. It's on New Year's Eve. He goes, imagine me on New Year's Eve. I'm by myself. I guess he was just down on himself. He walks in and he sees Laurel Salas, who was his rival, there with two of the most beautiful women he's ever seen in his life, like this on New Year's Eve. So Art goes in there and they start wisecracking each other. Next thing they know, they take off their coats and they're just popping each other. And so it made the news the next day. I have a picture of the article here.
What a story.
Aragon and Salas in 45-minute saloon brawl. So what do, man? They say, we got to get this at the Olympics. You guys did that for free. Let's get this at the Olympics where we can all make some money. So like 3 months later, they had the real fight, and Aragon beat him fair and square.
That is a great story.
Read it in this book,
That's a great
please.
story. Yes, everybody. Get these books, everybody out there. Yes. I like the one with the colored picture.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
That was a beautiful. I can't believe I talked Arcadia Publishing into doing color for one time because they go, oh, well, it's going to cost more money.
They squeaked about that, huh?
They was going to, like A&M.
I'm glad you did that.
And I grinded them, and because my first book sold very well. So
is this your favorite because it's in color?
I like them all.
You
I like
the
them all,
content.
man.
You
I like
the
them
content.
all.
See, I'm a picture guy. These are great pictures.
I says, you know what? There's so many great pictures. I go, why should they be in black and white? So they said, okay, we'll give you a shot on it. So they gave me a color book.
It's a pretty good Boxing Day, huh?
Oh, yeah, this is great.
Wow. How long have we been doing this?
We're over an hour.
Oh my God!
Very cool.
Oh,
Very
my God.
cool. We should go eat. You guys hungry?
Yeah. You want to talk about La Plaza? You want to end up with that?
Yes, of course. Let's
do this.
I'm not in a hurry.
No. Let's do this, and then let's wrap it up.
I have to be back here by 3.
Yeah,
so.
let's go because we'll go to your place. Anyway, Lee, let me tell you a story on this. I've written 4
On
books.
this card?
Oh no, on the exhibit, the
Okay.
La Plaza.
Okay.
I've written my 4 books, and then I gave you a DVD on 18th and Grand.
Right.
And so, the La Plaza, the Cultura y Artes is a museum on Main Street in Los Angeles, downtown LA, across the street from Olvera Street. So they contacted us through my books and his DVD. Do you guys want to do an exhibit on the Olympic Auditorium? We'd love to. We have everything. And we worked on it for about 6 months straight just to get the collection together, I did the boxing. I carried all the boxing collection, and Steve DeBro got the wrestlers, the roller derbies, and the music people. So he was in charge of that, and we opened up August 11th, 2023, and it's going to end May 19th, 2024. So ladies and gentlemen, today is the 7th. May 7th. We only have 12 days left before before they close down.
We've been talking about that a lot ever since we went there.
Yes.
And we've mentioned it so many times.
there a big
Everybody, you
closing?
have to go out there. Everybody, you have to go out and see
Yeah,
it. It's really shockingly good. Like, we didn't expect it to be as vast and huge as it was. That was
Yes.
one of the biggest shocks. I thought we were going to see a couple of things. But
Yeah.
It just went on and on
Yes.
and on. It was so
Is there a big
amazing.
closing event? or something?
Yes, May 19th. There's a big closing event. In case anybody's interested, come on down. It's free, 12 to 5, from 12 noon to 5 p.m. Our closing celebration at
Who's
La
going to be
Plaza.
there? Any boxers?
Yes, we're inviting. I can get back with you later about the confirmed boxers, but I'm not sure yet.
Wrestlers?
Working on all that. Steve's working on all that. But it's gonna be a great one. We just had Palomino and Davila there for a boxing expo about a month ago. Yeah,
Did
so-
they see the whole thing?
Oh yeah, I walked them through. I gave
They
them
must
the
have been
tour.
blown away, right?
They were blown away.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I mean, the Olympic was about the most unique experience I ever had going to a building. I mean, the
Yeah.
wrestling and like the balcony that was on top
Uh-huh.
of everything. So the wrestlers would just get like full beers poured on them, and it was,
You hope it was beer.
yeah, exactly. But it was crazy.
Yeah,
It
I
was
kind of
such
started
an
sitting here
interesting
thinking
building.
about it, man. It was sketchy. I gotta admit, I was never fully relaxed at the Olympic. Yeah, but it gets so exciting there.
Yes.
It's like, wow.
I grew up there, and I saw
Yeah.
life and I saw death there, saw it twice with two boxers that passed away from
You were there for two?
yeah,
That's
against
two-
Johnny Owen, and then
That's too many.
yeah. It bothered me for a while, Lee. I couldn't watch boxing for like 6 months. But you know what? You realize we could cross the street and a car could hit us. We could go to a baseball game and then a foul ball will kill a little kid that's walking up the aisle. It happens, Death happens.
It's like boxing represents the progress of humanity. Like people like clawing their way to something, like it's sort of, it's so symbolic. It's like that's how humanity has made progress.
Yes.
That energy that the boxers are the only ones that still have that energy almost, they're just like fighting for their lives, It's really different and it's inexplicable.
It's
yeah.
It's the world's oldest sport. It's man versus man.
We're humbled next to those guys. Those
Yes,
guys are
yes,
amazing.
they're warriors, man.
Yeah. When I managed my fighter, I held a spit bucket. I was honored to do that. I thought
Uh-huh.
I was barely worthy of that. I probably wasn't worthy of that actually, but I got to do it because I wanted to do it. But that's how I felt in comparison. Like
it's-
I'm barely worthy of holding the spit.
When you're
bucket,
that close, Dan, you see things.
It's shocking. It's shocking.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's
Like,
shocking.
It's shocking. You
It's-
can't even explain it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
really like when you're this close to
Yeah.
it, you're just going, oh no.
yes.
And you know what else is shocking?
What's that,
When
Lee?
you hold those fucking mitts, those gloves.
Oh yeah.
I tried doing that. Man, I fucking rip your shoulder. You can't believe how hard they hit those things. Even if you're good, you move with the punch, but still, man, it's fucking brutal.
Yeah.
I knew instantly. I wasn't even.
mitts.
Yeah, the spit bucket. That's my thing. Yeah, that's.
Put the stool in the corner.
Yeah, but no, I don't think
It's an
they
important
can't.
part
Even,
of the
they don't
whole
even trust me
process.
with that. I'm the guy you spit on, and when you're bleeding and shit. Anyway, thanks for being here,
Lee,
Gene.
thank you. It's been an honor. Thank you, Dan, for introducing me to Lee and Lee and Dylan.
I knew that it would be a good.
You were
a good
absolutely
match.
right. What a great
Definitely.
fit. And I
We've
look
been talking about it for a couple of years already.
we're going to do this again if it's all
Yeah,
right with you.
I would love to
I would
come.
love to explore some of these topics more.
Yes, I could bring some posters and we could
Bring some
talk about
boxers.
it.
Bring some
Maybe I'll bring a
boxers.
boxer with me.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, I know some of the people are very animated and would be very entertaining for people. Okay.
Yes.
I guess that's it. Gene, thank you for
Thank
being
you,
here.
Lee. Thank you.
Dan, thank you for making this happen. Dylan, what a day, man. Thank you, man.
Great stuff.
Goodbye, everybody. I hope you all enjoy yourself. This was such a great podcast. I love this podcast. Yeah, this is the longest one we've done because it was just so great. Yeah, I love boxing. Thank you again, Gene.
you.
I'm really from my heart. Thank you.
Thank you.
Boxing, man. Fuck. Okay, you got to, yeah, okay. Bye, everybody. 3, 2, 1. Poof.